G'day and welcome. Well, school's finally finished for 2 weeks. We had parent-teacher interviews last night till a whisker before 7, and I had a couple of online ones today. 2 didn't show up. But one of the things that was quite interesting with it was, one of the complaints I had about a couple of boys was, he's just got to finish. He was so nearly finished and he didn't, so I couldn't give him a high mark. And the wives would look at the husbands and say, see, this is you. This is what you do. And I'm thinking to myself, it's what I do. I've got a bunch of unfinished things here. I got a whole lot of stuff back. This episode really, chapter, I don't know what you want to call it, is, I haven't done much because I've just been so busy at work. And I have been coming home and doing a little bit out here. But I had a whole lot of hydroblasting done there's some for the XA. Couple of Fairlane bits. The rear axle I've gone and had a look at. They've changed the limited slip mechanism. There was a lot of worn out parts on it. And I've had some brackets done and bits and pieces like that. And the motorbikes. So this is just kind of odds and sods really. It's not anything mind-blowing. So I'm just mixing up some satin black paint. And just in here, and I'll get a stand, hang on. It's amazing how many people come to think of it, say you can't do this. I need a proper hammer. I've been doing this for years, and I've got cans of acrylic paint, 20 years old, they're still fine. I always knock holes in there just so I can, it doesn't sit in the rim when I put the lid on. Where the hell's my steering stick? Yeah, this is dirty, but it'll do. Oh, that's right, this is very old. I picked up another little cheap motorbike, much to everyone's dismay, but it's so crazy simple and easy. There's a little bit on that bike, probably halfway through this video or something, I don't know. I can't remember what I filmed and what I haven't because I've just done dribs and drabs, and it's been a week since the last upload, so I figured, might as well do something. And that's a CB100 from 1972, I think. Old Honda stuff. It's all my bread and butter stuff. I like it. Hang on. This is a dirty jar, but we don't care. Can we get it in without spilling it? I bet I can't. Oh, I'm a winner. What a chicken dinner. Hang on. Oh, can I stop it with this? That's the neatest job I've done. Look. Look at that. Amazing. I amaze myself sometimes. It's good stuff, this. Master, acrylic, satin black. I bought 2 cans of it because I forgot that I'd bought one. Which is kind of me. I'd always do stupid stuff like that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. And I'm putting it directly over an etch primer. So I'm just going to, I know that'll probably be right, I have no idea. Well, this little heap of junk came from an auction. And it's a heap of junk. There's a couple of things on it though. A couple of really weird things. There's the seat. There's some dog nail clippers. The frame of the seat is fantastic. Even the padding doesn't look like it's been waterlogged and mouldy. The other thing I noticed, it came with another taillight and the missing indicator, is the tank. Now the tank is dented on the side, you can see it's rippled. The thing that's really spooky about it, inside it's like new, and it still smells like it's very flammable. The fuel colour is red. Now I've seen this before in an HD Holden I bought years ago, back in 2007. It had red fuel in it, and it was still good. And that's super, that's the old leaded fuel. So that still has some leaded fuel in it. That's what I think it is. There's been no effort to take care of the thing. So what I'm tipping, and don't forget my 350, when I restored that, that fuel went off inside 2 years. So this, I would think, has been stored in a very cool, dry place, which would be under a house, at a first guess. If you can see, it's got a broken plug. But the funny thing is, it still seems to have compression. Even though the kickstarter's knackered and someone welded it, and it stays down. Oops. So the inside of it is broken. How the hell did that happen? So, just the thread is in there with part of the porcelain insulator. That's not going to be easy to get out. Let's pop this carburetor off. The slide's nice and clean. I can't even get that lid off, it's been there for so long. I'm going to take it off and we'll have a quick look. This overflow is rock hard. I can't even get a ring spinner in there. But I can get this in. Hang on. There we go. Oh, that's going to suck. Oh, it didn't go through the gap. I've got to take this off here. Ooh, because I'll lose parts if I'm not careful. Such as these. Oh, I've already lost that one. And that tank mount, I'll keep those. Okay, let's take that off. Quite astonishing how fresh these parts look. There's no corrosion, nothing. You know, these things are normally, well, not so much those, but the insides of the carburetors are normally pretty messed up. Hang on. My God, that guy had foresight to put that there. I want to put it back. Hang on, lift these off. Okay, this could be a bit interesting. My God, is that a float repair? But that is squeak as hell. Lead seat freezing. Got a blow in there. That's phenomenal. That is quite amazing. That's worth trying to start it without doing anything really. Thank you, Mr. Morris. Main jet's clear. That is so amazing. Clear as a bell. I reckon it's worth trying to start it. The only thing that worries me a little bit is I don't know how to pull those shards of porcelain out without them going into the bore, if you know what I mean. I'm just going to lube this seal up. And pop that back on. Where is it? Lead. I'll use some of Charbel's brake cleaning. Just a moment. That literally took a second. I just squirted inside, use a toothbrush, like just like that, and it was done. That float could sink, could give us grief. Who knows? Who cares? You get these on. I haven't done one of these since I was a kid. There we go. That's friggin' phenomenal. I'll put these in here for safekeeping. The slope faces the air intake, obviously. Oh, hang on a minute. That's a bit grimy. What's going on with this? That feels a little bit stiff. Well, good morning. Slowly started pulling this apart. Actually, it didn't take long at all. And I was going to do one of those sort of will it run videos, but with a broken spark plug in the engine and no way of getting it out, I sort of decided not to. Look, it is what it is. It looks pretty dirty and dusty and grotty, but it's actually really, really, really good. Quite astonishing, really. I'll show you why. The engine had this badly welded Kickstarter thing on, Kickstarter lever on. I took the bolt out and then it just fell. So there was it wasn't a proper weld. And the work is really bad. But that's the extent of the bad, really. But some of the engine components are incredible. Bore's fantastic. It's original. That's an original Honda piston. Again, in good condition. I've just sort of done that, cleaned that up a little bit just to see if it's oversized, but it's not. It's original. Clearance is, whoops, really good. At a guess. Camshaft, associated bits like this, fantastic. Well, the profile looks healthy. It's going to have some wear on it, obviously, but it's not bad at all. The only thing that I could find, aside from the Kickstarter, that I wasn't that fond of, the cam chain has got a tiny bit of slack in it. The other thing is some of the valves, well, there's only two of them, have got some wear on them. I think I can get them back. They were sealing, but I can get that back, I'm pretty sure. Even the inside of the engine is pretty mint. The issue is though, you can compare it to the outside anyway. The issue is though, I did not want to split cases, but I might be. That's the Kickstarter shaft, and it's stuffed. And the only way to get into that is separate the cases and pull it out. That's a real shame. I'm sorry, I didn't turn the camera on. I was too busy just enjoying myself, I guess. I didn't feel like talking to anyone. This is quite tricky. There's a little O-ring underneath and one above, and they go over here. I think you got to slide the forks out and that comes off. I might just buff a very small bit that's not affected and get the paint matched. It doesn't look dissimilar to Master Soul Red. That though has got pearls in it. I think it's just a candy. I'm not sure. So, brake's full of asbestos. So, I've put them in a bag. I'm just going to take this off. That cam is seized in there off the rear. So I'm just saving grommets and putting stuff in to be blasted. Those grommets go with that. This one's seized. And that one is, I've got to get that off as well. The motor, I need that tool there. I can make one out of a socket, but I haven't got any sockets I want to dispose of. Then I can sort of pull the rest of this to bits. I'm so bummed about that shaft. They're still available, so it mustn't be an uncommon problem with them. It just means I've got to pull it all apart, and I really didn't want to. It doesn't matter though. Wise, pardon me, it's all good, except the steering stop has been broken off, and also the pivot for the brake light, the rear brake, is bent. Aside from that though, it seems to be in remarkably good condition. It doesn't seem to be bent or twisted anyway. Now that's all part of the pivot for the centre stand. It's all flogged out. That's not hard to fix. You can just weld a little washer there, or washer either side, or whatever. This is the centre stand I had done for the 350. Before I realised I didn't have the brackets for it, and so I never put it on. And this was, I don't know, 5 years ago or something. I think I had Sam powder coat it, but I don't know. The brackets for it must be in. Oh, that's in somewhere. I don't think it'll be the same. I don't think 100 are that tight. But let's have a look anyway. Here it is. Yeah. That looks reasonably nice, doesn't it? It's exactly the bloody same. Holy crap. Wonder if it'll fit. Oh no, it's too wide. Oh damn. It's the same height. That would have been great to use. Lots of goodies here. We've got Fairlane bits. They're the rear brake brackets for the rear axle I've got to take to the diff guy. Rear calipers. Of course, these are hydroblasted. They're not painted. You can see just how beautiful the work is. That's all Zeal stuff in there. It's all been hydroblasted and everything. That's all Fairlane rear axle stuff that's back from the platers. A few more bits off the Fairlane as well. This is all CB100 stuff. Cases and cylinder head, which looks pretty good. The barrel and piston are particularly good. There's a very, very slight mark, but not much. Just a minute. The piston, I haven't measured the lands, but that's as good as new. I can't see any issue with that whatsoever. Front hubs and triple tree. There's some engine bits and pieces there. The cases are here. They've come up really, really well. I want to get everything out of my study. That's all stuff that's been blasted. I've got to paint, so I've got to etch it first. That's all Zeal plating. And you can just see, this is Terry from the plating place, right? And he's about to close up. Absolutely perfect. That's that really rusty pipe. Now you can't avoid some of the pitting, but absolutely beautiful stuff. And he's so reasonable. The squeal cylinder head. Oh, let's put that on my knee. Chambers are all nicely cleaned. It looks absolutely perfect. So I can put that back together too. And there's more. There's more stuff as well. There's a set of barrels. They're off the Zeal. Under there. And there's a set of pistons. These are only very, very cheap. Extremely cheap. I think $60 for a set of oversized pistons. And they come with rings, pins, everything. Let's unwrap one. You know, they're oversized, 1/2 mil, and just beautiful. I think they're even branded Yamaha, even though they're not. It says Yamaha inside, underneath the crown. So I can't complain with all that. And the parts have been just ridiculously cheap. Yeah, these were $60, I think, on the door. So the only thing that I've ruined the water pump. I've That's the only part that I've sort of mucked up, but otherwise it's all good. These are also on special for 30 bucks. Well, $30 US, so it was about 50 bucks. I think 60 bucks delivered. It's a 100. This is pretty chintzy. Feels like that. You know what it feels like? It feels like when you buy a princess outfit for your 5-year-old daughter and it's got plastic crowns, plastic bits on the crown like that. I'll paint that red, that little Honda wing inside. The machine is a 100, it's not a 125, but these are painted, and they're painted quite a nice colour, so I might go from the red to this for this bike, so I'm just painting the tank basically, and I'll do the special, the 350 special in candy red. But I couldn't fault that, you know, they're proper plastic covers, their badges are clipped in, and they fit, so it was a bit of a chicken dinner. Barrels for the Zeal, of course, came up beautifully, although they've still got that mark in. That's actually water damage, which I can't do much about. So they will have to be bored. Got a few more bits here for the 100, like headstock parts and exhaust brackets. They're the top of the fork bolts, which are just lovely. The seized brake cams. You can't do this stuff yourself. You've got to use people like John. There's the carburetor. I started cleaning it with brake clean, and it's just easier because, you know, nothing's expensive. And then, well, it's turned out being expensive because we've had such a lot done. That's the inside of the air cleaner housing. Again, more upper bearing, steering upper bearing thing, and, you know, all that stuff. I've just clear coated over the old chrome. It's a tiny bit pitted, but I think it's alright. A couple of gear shifts, there's one there, that's off the 100, that's off the 250. A couple of kickstands, that's the headlight or the fairing bracket for the 250. I'm not putting a fairing back on it. Headlight for the 100, toolbox. They're the pegs for the 100. And it was all sort of blasted, hydro blasted, and then clear coated. There's a new muffler for the 750. And that's the swing arm stay, or the rear hub stay, sorry, for the 250. XC wipers, which I didn't clear, I've just done them in satin. And you know, things like that's off the XA wagon. These hinges are off the Outback car, which is the sedan. They will probably go on the wagon because this was a bit twisted, and the wagon's going to be sort of a better car, if you know what I mean. That's a chain guard off the 100 that was all pitted and horrible on the chrome, so I've sort of sanded it all back, and then I've just edged it, but I'll bodywork that. Ooh. That's normally chrome. I'll do that in a candy blue, and the same with these things here. They're the shock, what do you call them? The fork shrouds. They're a little bit damaged up around where the headlight mounts. There was one I didn't get blasted, it's this. I just want to go and see John, Terry at Milson's, and just find out, you know, what I can get close to that. Then we'll blast that, paint it and all that sort of stuff, yeah. Swing arm for the little 100, that's kind of rough. We got all the rust out of it, but there are quite a few coats of clear on there. Same with this was in very, very good condition. That's the headstock for the 100. These are ZF Fairlane, no they're not, they're ZK Fairlane bits for the rear axle, and that's coming back very soon. I've got new disc rotors for it, and they're the backing plates, which I've just done in satin. So they'll be fine the way they are. I normally powder coat that stuff, but I'm just out of money at the moment. Airbox for the 100, that has a plated bit that goes there that I've already done, and I've just cleaned all that up. I've just got to put that battery grommet down in that hole there, and then that's cool, that one there. So it's all getting there. I really love the variety of jobs that I immerse myself in, if you know what I mean. It's brilliant. The Zeal, I managed to get new manifolds for it. Again, this stuff's dime a dozen, you know. These new manifold rubbers were 50 bucks or something. Stuff for this is dirt cheap, yeah. If you get it from, you know, a Thai distributor or somewhere like that. I don't think you need to get genuine Yamaha for that sort of thing. So I packed up a few bits and pieces ready for when I'm starting to do the work. Thought the diff had come back today for the Fairlane, but it hasn't. That's just the watch link think I've done. That's a great grade of satin black. It's an acrylic, but it shoots really, really well and settles back into a lovely satin. Couple of little squeal brake calipers that I'll do. Front one's free, which I thought was binding, but it wasn't. It was the back one that's binding. So I have to work that out. The other thing is the XA Sedan's brake calipers. Look, I de-rust them and everything. They're just too. They're not very good. I'll get John to clean them. I'll just let them sort of get surface rusty again. It sort of spooked me with the slides. Not that one. One of them I just cannot get out. They're actually really badly pitted. That rear axle could have been the one out of Nathan Hickey's van. I'm not sure. That's sustained a lot of rain damage. And even the handbrake actuators, these are the ones from the Fairlane, those threads compensate for the pad as it wears. And the one of that caliper that had the rusty slide actually feels serrated. As you run your finger, it should be smooth. I'm not sure if I can use it or not. The calipers have come back for that, I think I showed you. The wiper blades for the Fairlane, again in that lovely satin. Or not the Fairlane, what are they for? The XC. So I've got some XC stuff going as well. GDS auctions, I picked up these two bits. I picked up 3 bits actually. That's a CB350 twin rear wheel. I think it's the same as the 4. And the front forks, this was 80 bucks I think. It's got that stay for the twin leading shoe front disc, front drum, which I wanted. It's got a broken tree. There's a chunk missing out of that. Don't care. These are the bits I wanted, these side bits here. And I can use these, the indicators. It's got some lovely gaiters on it. They're a bit worn, a bit stiff, but it doesn't matter. We can put new ones on. And those fork legs, I think I've got a set of those forks, I'm not sure. I know I've got 2 left 350 F1s which use a disc. That's great. I needed an axle, and it's got a sprocket which will go in the toilet, and a few other bits and pieces on it. That sprocket cover's really cool. Also, I started cleaning this frame up. I wasn't going to use it because this frame that was from the auctions was 20 bucks. Someone welded a big nose on the front of it which you can cut off. It's got that steering stop on it, which the other one doesn't have. It's sort of broken off there. I can weld something on there though. The problem with it is someone has cut off the rear, obviously to put a hoop on it or something. It should have that large round hole at the back. That's what the rear guard sort of mounts to. So I'll stay with the original one, but I'll have to repair that. But yeah, no, I'm just starting to take paint off. John said he could hydroblaster, but I thought I'll get it all cleaned up today and paint it, and then I forgot that I've got to weld it up. The hub itself looks to be in lovely condition, particularly inside. Got to be a bit careful. These are original HM, but that is asbestos. So I might just give it a squirt down and put them in a bag. And I've got to punch out. Oh no, it's just a bush there, isn't it? I'm not sure. Oh, it's got that thing there too. Oh, looking good. So what's quite pleasing about this rear wheel is actually CB350F, I'm sure. The 4-cylinder one. It's the front hub that I've got is twin. Now, I've had these rims for about 5 years, and they're identical. A bit dusty, but I've had them forever. They're exactly the same width. Perfect. So I guess the best course of action is to sort of take a couple of spokes off as a how do you get these out? Well, you just undo them. Oh, cool. Just take the spokes and a couple of spokes, and I'll just cut the rest of them off, and then I can get that all blasted. It's just not going to be easy, is it? I was just going to cut them. but I don't think I can. Well, I can cut them, but I wanted to keep some as a sample. There's something therapeutic about lacing wheels, but also delacing them. I decided not to cut them off. I just kept them, and I don't know why. I just feel like wasting time today because I'm not going to use them. I'll get new ones once I verify all the lengths. I'll chuck them out. But I like doing it. The only thing I can't do is hang on, I'm stuck. The only thing I can't do is true them. I haven't tried, and I'm not going to, because that's just, it's quick for a specialist, or at least it's a lot quicker for a specialist to do it than it is for me to. But no, I like doing this, and the weather's so unpredictable. You know, that's why I have to do the bikes now, or I prefer to do them now. But your car guys don't like that, but it doesn't matter. I need variety. Oh good, so we're going to get that sorted. That's in beautiful condition, just dirty, and that I think we'll chuck out. This has been a headache. These valves are so small, I've lapped these two in, and I'm not proud of how I've done it. I've done it the wrong way. I haven't got a suction cup big enough to go in there. But the result looks pretty good. Now, I've tried everything. I've tried hot gluing a stick, and you know, didn't work, just came straight off. Then I cleaned it with thinners, tried it again, came off. But I tried a piece of tube over the back, because you can't even do this, which is a no-no, using your drill to lap them in. You can't get anything in there, you can't get the drill chuck in there because the valve stem is flush and you can't get that in close enough, let alone move it. Then I got a pencil and drilled it out to 3mm. They're 3.5, or 3.2, sorry, I did 1/8 of an inch, and the pencil split. Then I tried a piece of dowel, same thing. The only thing that's been successful is I glued a hot glue stick, and they're they feel really rubbery, and they get a good purchase on it. This isn't a good way to do it. Hang on. I've got the guide well lubricated, but it's turning the valve It's the only way I can do it. So we can wind it off. And we'll see how that's gone. Where's my rag? And all things considered, it does a pretty good job. Even though I don't condone it and I wouldn't do it in terms of the risk of wear to the guide. I'm really hoping you can see that. Can you see what I'm doing? Can you see that? It looks pretty peachy. I haven't even tried to get the guide in yet. Oh, the valve springs in yet. But those seats are looking really, really good. Even though it's the wrong way to do it. I successfully did all the exhausts. These intake valves, they're pretty good. I'm just putting them in here, a bit of scotchy. Whoops. I'll just get in there a bit better. And they come up beautifully. Look at that. So I'm just cleaning them all, then I'll lap these ones in as well, and then we can put that back together. These valves can be a bit of a challenge. I'm really worried about losing the collets, the locks if you like, because they're so small. Alright, so I've got most of it in. There's just 3 to go. Just lubricate the stem a bit. I don't know what you can see. I moved the light. So there we go. Let's pop that in. Turn it around. Each bag contains the shim and bucket and the spring. The springs are the same either side, but if there's any sign of any surface rust, that goes down toward the bottom, because that was, the oil was contaminated, remember? So these little things I numbered. This is 14 with no specific thing. It was 1 through 8, 9 through 14, like that, and I made a little box. So I was going to pull these off, pop it in the bin, and we've got the shim sitting in there. Now I'm not putting the shimmer buckets on yet because just got to check to see if the head's straight. I probably should have done that before I put these in, but anyway, doesn't matter. These little collets, these little locks, minute. Where did that go? Oh. They are minute. And so I've just put them in like that. I'll then put my finger under the valve, stick that on, and then I'm going to put that on top and then screw the bottom up against the valve. Now the tricky part with this, I'm just going to see if you can see exactly what I'm talking about. There it is there. As you screw it down, these things want to come out. I'm just going to pop my finger underneath. I'll try and keep this straight so you can see it. And periodically, I'm just pushing them in and moving bias on the spring itself, just to get them to wiggle down. You can use grease and all sorts of stuff, but I'm electing not to. So they're sort of an equal distance down. Damn, I'll just pull one out. Now, what have I done with the here? Alright. I'll try and keep it straight so you can see what I'm doing. I would tip my fingers in the way. And I think we've got that in. And I'm just verifying to make sure it's all flat all the way around. And we'll give it a bit of a tap afterwards. Some tools away and I found these. They're XD speaker grills. I wish I knew I had those. That's a weird image, isn't it? I wish I knew I had those. I'd have used them in the Fairlane. I don't think I can use those though. Okay, cylinder head's all sorted. Except that bit of hair. All the valves are in. And looking quite good. So I'm 120% convinced that is not leaking. I think that's good as gold and good enough to put back on. I just need to verify that it's straight, and I don't even know if that level is straight. Looking along at it, I can't see. Hang on. Actually, that looks pretty good. I don't think you're supposed to use the spirit level. Oh, I can see a gap there. I can see a gap there. See that? That's not particularly good. What about here? Yeah, no, there is a gap there. What about if I turn this over? Is the gap still there? No, it's not, which means I don't... Oh, no. That might not be straight. You need a proper straight edge. Anyway, I think we'll call it quits for now. That's enough for one episode, I think. Very varied sort of content on this one, but anyway, not to worry. Take good care of yourselves, enjoy your classic, and I'll see you soon.